Dr. Manu Chandaria, it's a pleasure to be speaking with you today. Dr. Chandaria, we've known each other many years and our families have known each other for such a long time, and you are a totemic figure in Kenya and in the rest of Africa. You've built businesses. How many countries are you in today in Africa as Comcraft?
We are probably in 18 countries now.
18 countries?
Yeah.
And that started from Kenya?
It all started from Kenya.
Yeah. And today you're ubiquitous. I mean, you know, you've got foundations, you work a full day. You just told me you've turned 87 and that we are here drinking the elixir, which is going to keep us all going to 100.
Good.
But today, it's a pleasure to be speaking with you. I know you are going to be speaking as the keynote guest at the Latin America Caribbean Summit, which is happening later in November. Can you tell us a little bit about the topic you're going to be talking about? I think it's the reality of doing business in Africa. You know, what is the reality, Dr. Chandaria?
Reality in business is, I look at one thing. Do you want to do business? Then wherever you go, there are always going to be obstacles. If you want, you can do it. Yes. Only hoping that you'll do a business, that's not going to happen. So I think that you got to be on the ground, yes, and you got to say and make it happen. When I look at I'll tell you the history of how we grew.
Yes.
But as this is a Latin American Caribbean, it's interesting, you know, that because we've got a UNEP, yes, and UN Habitat over here as a world headquarters, majority of those countries have got their embassies here.
So they're already represented?
They're all represented.
Yes.
Now they're spending the expenses all time. Why don't they just put commercial attaches with all these people and build simultaneously a second pillar, which is economic pillar? Right now they're only doing is the pillar which worked with United Nations, Habitat or UNEP. But simultaneously they could be doing a second pillar over here where the businesses could be grown both ways, from Kenyan side and from the South American side.
You think there's a lot, it's a greenfield opportunity?
Yes. It's a greenfield. This is opening up. You know, years back, Latin America was just as like Africa. And you can go and see today, anything and everything you can talk about, they manufacture. And if not, they grow. They convert that food, whatever they grow, into finished products. So I think that there is so much that they can do with very little investments, and bringing the people, inviting them here. All we do today is once a year we go to their National Day and say hello, how are you to our remaining ambassadors and the high commissioners. But that's not it. What we need to do is to understand the culture of that country and how they can help us and how we can help them. The question over here is today that this is the last continent today, as we say. And it has got everything just like Latin America has got. And there's so much of similarity that we can do businesses here. So first thing I'd like to say that please wake up. Instead of just only having an embassy for political purposes. And you cannot have any political relationship between Latin American Chile, say, and Kenya. What is common? Nothing. But what is common with us is totally forgotten. Chile today was one of the largest producers of flowers, yes, largest producers of fruits, wine, anything and everything that you can talk about. Chile is full of that. Now, how can we move the ideas, thoughts together and see whether this can be done? Now, what Chile has to then spend on it is bring the people here, take few people from here to Chile, and organize and find out that who are the guys who will make it. Don't take just joyriders, but just say, I have a farm, I'm doing ABC, I'm making something, is there something that Chile can add value to my products? When I was, now I don't go to Latin America very often, but in my initial period, I used to go quite often. And I can remember 25 years back in Brazil, that 22 industries manufacturing coffee powder from Robusta. Now, why are we exporting everything?
Yes.
And now we can also make an instant coffee out of Arabica. Now, my wife drinks now Arabica coffee in grains. So, that know-hows are there. But the difference is that 1 pound of raw coffee is equal to 1 gram of finished product.
Is that all?
Yeah. And that much is available. Growth and a possibility of wealth creation on both sides. And their coffee is not going to come over here, and our coffee is not going to go there. But we know that there are, if you go to America, you go to a shop, there are special coffee shops, they'll say Colombian coffee, Chilean coffee, Brazilian coffee, you name it. And then they will mix of that coffee with this coffee here, that coffee with this coffee, this one. You would not believe how many types of coffees that they have. And the whole shop is only coffee, that's it. So my purpose is to see and excite the high commissioners and ambassadors who are here now, together with the people who are coming from outside, that let's make a case rather than political representation for the United Nations. Let's build a pillar of economy together. And then side by side, a pillar of culture. Our music and their music, there's not very much of difference. Their sports and our sports, there can't be very much different. So it might be very interesting for us to really take this opportunity, not as a one country, but as a whole continent. And Latin America, I don't know how many countries are there. You start from Guyana to right up to Chile, and Argentina on the other side. And there in Argentina, I remember that when I used to go there used to be farms of 100,000 acres.
Yes.
My God. So we got to learn from them. So I think that this is a good idea, whoever has thought about it, to get together, all of us, means all the Latin American countries, bring them, some of them over here, and show the case that we are also a developing nation, but we have achieved. You go to Argentina, you think that you are in Europe. It's not a third world country. In every country where you go. So let's take the best advantage of it. Now, what can they do in this country? Number one, see the manufacturing part.
Yes, because you've been in manufacturing all these years. I mean, this is your area of speciality. And Dr. Chandaria, I was at a conference, the FT Africa conference, and everybody was saying, where are the jobs going to be created? We have so many young people coming. Tell us where you think we can see more jobs being created in manufacturing. What do you see as easy wins?
Well, the two things that I see over here, the easy way, is that today, being a chancellor of two universities in Kenya, one is TUK, Technical University of Kenya, and USIU.
Yes.
And seeing that there are 4 million Kenyan youth, from university graduate, dropouts, trained, polytechnic graduates, dropped out, secondary school education, 4 million are pacing streets of Kenya. To me, that youth bulge, you can get to advantage or disadvantage to you. It can be dangerous and it can produce the per capita for this country.
Yeah.
Now, they're not going to produce just like that. So we need some means. Now, means means what can Chile do, or what can Brazil do, or what can any other country from Colombia, or whichever the country, Bolivia, what they can do here, which we can utilize them. So I would think that as far as the industries are concerned, they are used to going from one country to another country, though their language is only one, except Brazil. They all have the same languages. Here, you go from here to Ethiopia, it's a different language.
Yes.
Even English is, you have to fill up the forms in America. So there are similarities what they have, and there are possibilities what they are ultimately they can make it in a major way. So my personal feeling is, when we started, we thought either we become big in one country, but then we started with 4.5, 5 million people in Kenya. Today is 45. But 5 million people, what can you make and how much can you make? So we went 1, 2, 3, 4 different items. Now we found that it's not that way. So it's repeated in Tanzania, we repeated in Uganda, we repeated in Ethiopia, we repeated in Zambia, we then went to South Africa, we repeated in Mozambique, we repeated in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Ivory Coast, in Cameroon. So it's repeat, which you know the subject, you know the product, you know the suppliers, you know the equipment, you know the know-how. All you do is just come, close your eyes, put it here. Yeah, some will fail. Don't worry, you get up again. But East Africa offers today, and Africa offers today, a tremendous amount of possibilities, because we are still nowhere. We can make some of the items, but we are nowhere. Look at in this office. You look at this cup, it's manufactured outside. You take it as glass, manufactured from outside. You take that pens, except biro is now manufactured from here. You take this glass, it's manufactured outside. Furniture, everything comes from outside. Now, why?
Is this the African problem right now?
Yeah. And we have allowed ourselves to be utilized by others. So why should we do it? And until every Kenyan start thinking, every African says, because when I go to me, there are all the countries that I go to. All those countries, when they start thinking that this is our continent, not my country, our
That's
continent.
an interesting point you're making, because always people say Africa is not one country.
Does make difference 62, but that it has no problem.
Yes.
All we want to say is that this is our country, our continent, and we want to get up. Now some will be sleepy, some will be very fast. But whoever can, we should not lose the chance. But we cannot do it without holding somebody's hand.
Yes.
And no economy can ever grow without partnership, without know-how changes, and slowly you can grow it up. Now to me, I think that this is a great opportunity for a totally new types of people coming here. We have Europeans come here, we've got Americans come here, we've got Canadians come here, but we hardly see any time people coming from Latin America. They can all come, and they can be a part and parcel. It might be difficult to start with, but the question is that how do we build up? And once you've got a base of an embassy here, then let's not just keep it a political relation. Political relation between country to country is zero, very little, because there is nothing, but we can build a chain link with economy. So my personal feeling is that every other country in Africa today is looking for an opportunity. And so if I would say they are halfway in the ladder, or maybe 3/4 way in the ladder, and they can certainly give us a lot of know-how. And some of the possibilities that you see in the country.
Describe to me what possibilities you see. You told me about coffee. Where else? Because you've traveled in Latin America. You're one of the pioneers of this whole thing.
Look, steel.
Steel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mining.
Yes.
And a lot of mining possibilities. Oil.
Yes.
Latin America is full of oil in
Yes.
various places. Agriculture
Yes.
and adding value to the agriculture. That's what we are not doing at all.
Yes.
And that's where 80% or 75% of our population is stuck. So what do they know? Let's bring them up over here. And it's not going to be an easy ride. But what does it cost extra, tell me? Why would I go and open up in Mozambique, tell me? I open up in Mozambique because I have the same product. I know the suppliers. I know how to market it. I know the know-how. I just go and open up, full stop. It might be 6 months, 12 months, might have some ups and downs, but fine. And I think that the governments can also play a role.
Yes.
That is there a possibility for them to come over here, help us, and accept that help as a help from another continent. You know, it's not possible to get anything from America to here. That's not a possibility because they are here. Japan here. It's not a possibility we can make an automobile and send to Japan. Those are not possibilities. What are possibilities that what we have got here, how can we add value to those and give it to them? At the same time, how can we make intermediate goods? Today, intermediary goods are not there at all. Either you go and buy a finished product or you have just a few raw materials that come into the country. So my value add will be agriculture. Agriculture again. Agriculture again.
Okay.
Agriculture again. 5 times agriculture. Because Brazil, Chile, Argentina, you name them.
Yes.
They know the game.
They do.
Yeah. So that's one of the way you can improve that, yeah. And the second thing is that while we are doing this, it's not going to cost us too much. As a matter of fact, all the ambassadors who come over here, they should be really more as a business people. They can always spend time and have a little political guy next to him who will attend the meetings while he is attending the business part. Because at the end of the day, if you cannot create wealth,
Yeah.
that is useless then. So any effort that we do, if it does not end up into creation of wealth, number one, or giving education is another one. Though their language is different, our language is different, but education-wise, the roads you see, their highways you see, their buildings that you see, you know, they've done it long time back. So I think that you don't have a bad taste.
Yes.
Kenya doesn't have any bad taste that they behave difficult in relationship in Latin America. Neither any Latin American country has got any bad taste.
We have a good taste, surely,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So I think that let's maximize economic pillar.
Yes.
An economic pillar can only be done by private sector, not the government. But the government can push and help as many people. Brazilian government must decide that, look at South Africa. When South Africa opened up, every week, every second week, you'll get a South African contingent of people. These motor spares, these paint materials, they just like swarm, they kept on coming for 2 years because they wanted markets. And they got a huge market from us. So, and then the government of South Africa was supporting them. And tax-wise, that if you go over there, whatever the expenditure that you've done, it's all been accepted as an expense. And support over here. So I think that the point is that is it right time?
Is it the right time?
It is the right time. Let's question mark. Is it the right time? Yes, it is the right time. And we can do it.
Can I now just jump to the title of your topic that you're going to be speaking about, which is the reality of doing business in Africa.
Yeah.
You know, we see a lot of these indices of the ease of doing business. You're a Latin American company. Maybe you ventured into some of the Lusophone countries, Angola and Mozambique. But, you know, the rest of the continent might seem very daunting. You've described, you've said, you know, you just come in and start.
Yeah, come in and start.
How different are these different countries? What would you tell people from the Caribbean or Latin America coming here? Would you say come to Kenya first? What would you say to them?
Well, I think this meeting is taking place in Kenya.
Yeah.
So there will enough time over here. They'll be able to meet more people here. Come to Kenya. And in Eastern Africa today, we are running very high. But irrespective, when I'm seeing a country, I'm not seeing a country because it's Latin America. I'm seeing a country because I got a product to sell, to manufacture and to utilize for me, or to manufacture and give to the market. My interest in going to Brazil or Chile or any other countries in Latin America is purely what can I do with my products? Because I'm a businessman.
Yes.
I'm not interested in anything else.
You're not a communist.
Can I sell my product? Can I buy my raw materials from there? Is it a possibility for me to do something business with them? Then I can do the deal. I do a deal because it is beneficial to me.
Yes.
But my benefits only comes when I can see a fertile ground on where I can land.
Yes.
Then the business
Are you
is
saying
okay.
Kenya is a fertile ground right now?
Yes.
Now,
Forget about politics.
yes.
If you want to worry about politics, then you sit at home.
Yeah. I think this is the situation anywhere in the world today.
Anyway,
the politics has changed.
Today in America,
Yeah.
who stops in investments in America?
Yeah.
Today there seem to be more planes over here.
You're describing, I was thinking, you're like a Pan-African, Dr. Chandaria. You've spread your wings all over the continent. You're one of the earliest Africans that I can think who ventured into these markets. You know, there's a fashion today to talk about South-South collaboration, but no one ever spoke about Africa and Latin America collaborating, right? It's been very nascent.
Never.
So when you look at this opportunity, do you see like a massive opportunity? You think people just haven't focused on it, or
No, focus first. There is no focus.
Yes.
There is no attention. Forget about even focus. There is no attention.
Yes.
They say, oh, we are Latin America, oh, that's Africa. Finish.
Yeah.
That conversation stops there. You go to first attend.
Yes.
Give attention to what you want to do, and maybe you might not be able to do anything, but at least give a chance.
Yes.
Your company to come here, look at the possibility, see for themselves what can be done. And East Africa is, you can go to Uganda, you can go to Ethiopia, you can go to South Africa, you can go to Rwanda, wherever you want to, Tanzania, wherever you think that which fits into your product.
Yes.
I would not go into a country where they don't use roofs. I'm making roofs.
Yes.
I would not go to a Saharan country where they just don't use any roofing material. Yeah. So I think that you find out exactly what you have and what you can offer. But purely trading is not going to work.
You don't think so?
No.
No.
Because today the trading is based only on connections of political connection, building infrastructure connections. That's what the trading is all about today. Trading is not purely because I get a better deal in Turkey, then I can buy my products from India. If I get a better deal in Turkey, as a businessman, I'm not interested in India. Maybe I'm an Indian, but I'm not interested. So we got to see a possibility. And I think that the business-wise, it can open up. But only selling and saying, I'll send the goods over here and I'll buy the goods from you, that's not going to work.
You want people to make things.
Make things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because all my life is making, adding value where I am.
Yes.
Yeah. When I go to Mozambique, they consider me to be Mozambican because I'm adding value.
Yes.
Into that, I'm employing people. I'm building factories. I'm giving taxes. I'm using their water and electricity. So I'm adding to them. My coming is giving them an opportunity which they don't have, which I'm adding. So I think that attitude of, and number two, the attitude is that why we are, at least why I'm successful, is that I always looked at the people also, people of the country. What do they require? I'm not just making anything for everything. I'm making only things which can help the overall number of more people, as many as they can. And two is to be helpful. When you have a workforce, look after them. Make sure that they're loyal to you. And not just today's a good time, so okay, otherwise day after tomorrow out. You cannot build. So building is building the faith in the country, building the faith in the workforce, building the faith into your customers, building the faith into the country itself. And every country goes ups and downs, and these are all political cycles. Every 5 years, again, things go wrong, another man comes in. But as far as we are concerned, we don't mind whether the election is going to be here or not here. Our work will keep on going. It will have a little cold weather, but still, I think that as economy, you do not see countries' issues. You see, is it creating wealth? Is it giving jobs? Is it bringing better environment of doing business in the country? Do it. Yeah.
Dr. Chandaria, I would like you just to finish off with some thoughts that the LAC Africa, the Latin American Caribbean Africa Summit, the summit program starts in the week of the 22nd. The first day of the conference will be November the 24th, and the second day will be November the 25th. We look forward to welcoming guests from here, from Latin America, and from the Caribbean for this first-time conference to cover these particular continents. What would you like to say finally to the audience?
I'd like to say that, look, make the best of the expense of your country, having an embassy sitting here in Muthaiga and going to UN. Try to get people who can add value, not sending the reports from here, there, and from there to here and give an explanation. Add value. And I think that the humanity requires adding value today. 4 billion people only get up in the morning and go to sleep. They didn't even know what the whole day they did.
Is that right?
That's it. Absolutely. They're so down under. If you can lift them up, that's also a great service. But the lifting cannot be done by just giving him holding and giving him a food. It's making sure that how we can buy food. Let's take another example of a maize mill.
Yes.
Kenya is a major, we eat maize. Now, maize is being converted into Latin America in various ways. In tacos and in, I don't know, enchiladas, and they make the bread and they make everything they make out of maize. You'll be surprised. We just only one thing is we just know uji and ugali. That's all. We don't know anything else. So all cultural relations like that, trying to say these are our food, show this. Not only intercontinental. Go to the market in Karatina or and say, no, look, this is how we do it. That is how you could improve. And many times I keep on saying that Asians would be over, Indians would be here for 125 years now. How much of food have we been able to move an hour. When they ask me, they say, oh, but you eat vegetables. What do you eat then? And I tell him that what do I eat means, my wife had written a book on rice. You can fix rice in 125 ways. So you give me a potato, and I'll make a potato in a different ways. Yes. And just not only one, I don't know only that chapati and those two items. We have not been able to influence because we have not been able to give them and show them exactly how they can make. Avocados fall, nobody eats in the country. Forget about our countryside. It falls and nobody eats. Like that, so many things. Yes. You know, interconnection could be a better way. Yeah. So my personal feeling is that Africa is opening. It requires help. And it doesn't require help of Japan or America or Germany. It requires help of people who have come out from that process of bottom up, coming up, that process. Even today you go to tigers in Southeast Asia, they are all equal to almost any other European nation. But here you have a nation still coming up, and you have also in Latin America lots of nations still coming up. So we can certainly make a lot of effort, possibility. What we want is gain on both sides, not one-way game. Both sides. I want to give something, and I want to take something out. If that is the principle, then I think the friendship could be built. Now, friendship only by shaking hands is not a friendship. If friendship is shaking hands and say, yes, that's a contract. That's what I'd like to see.
Let me leave it there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chandaria.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
No, it's my pleasure. Long overdue and
long overdue.
really a pleasure.
Yeah.